Well, hello there, everybody. It is Thursday, jamming out to a little bit of Jethro Tull. Gotta love it. Hmm. I did. But anyway, thank you all for coming in and tuning on and turning on and adding to the flavor. Yep, it's more, how shall we say, satisfying when everybody joins in. How can you go wrong with that? Seriously. Welcome again. Let me speak favor over us all. And, that favor counts. I don't care what you think. You speak it long enough, it's just on autopilot. That's all I got to say. And as we also like to say here, nothing missing, nothing broken, and Bosto. Yeah, be of service to others. So, and, that'll actually come in handy for us when we set out on this expedition. But first, let's just all give a minute or two here, thought, prayer, whatever, however you want to do it, to Cooper, little dude had just been sick. And, I can't imagine um, what it would be like for a youngster who, you know, immune system is not as developed to have what I had. It freaking sucks. So Trina texted me a little while ago, and I believe this is her grandnephew, I think. But he just turned gray, is what she said. And of course, her niece and everyone went to the hospital, and hospital is saying that he needs a transfusion, a blood transfusion. So serious situation there. And sickness is a spiritual component. Our ancestors believed that if you had a sickness, that it was caused by an evil spirit. Then it got upgraded to a demon. But yeah, since we're philosophers here, I mean, what's interesting is God, the God of the Bible, he put sickness on people. That's fucked up, man. But anyway, Cooper, we just see you, brother, you little guy, and we just we just surround you. Um, I was taught in my spiritual walk that we can form a hedge, literally in the astral, and which would be the spiritual, the ethereal. But we as sentient spirit beings, we can join hands with one another in the spirit, in the astral, and join hands, and we can picture little Cooper. I didn't have a chance to download the picture, but I'll share it with you just to show you. This little guy is just a cutie. So there he is. So all of us just see each other standing around Coop, and we're the hedge. And the thing about it is, we can force what's inside the hedge out. So just see that. Just see that. We stand there around him. So we'll take guard, and we just speak healing to you, little man. And we speak healing to that spirit and that beautiful little soul. So, yeah. That's how it's done, folks. It's true. Yeah. I'm grateful for what I've been taught. Wow, powerful stuff. So, and nothing missing, nothing broken. That includes, I mean, disease is nothing but divided peace. So if you speak peace over someone who is ill, you're already breaking that energy and you're uniting peace. Wouldn't it be great if the people that, there's a messed up generation out there that's running things. Man, these people truly got their heads so far up their rectums that They got fecal matter instead of brain matter because it's like the narrative is to hate, divide, find fault instead of maybe reconciliation, maybe compromise, maybe peace. And dare we say that four-letter word, Mary wins? Love. Yeah. So anyway, what's happening in the chat room? Let me go back and say hello to everybody. Man, it's full. And by the way, thank all of you. I mean, there is a lot of exciting things going on. F Kitty, good to see you. I know I saw Deborah. How are you, darling? Rick, how are you doing? Jargo, Scotty boy, good to see you, brother. Who else did I not? Mary Wins, how you doing? Hello, Goddess Sabina, sending you love. Greg, how are you doing, brother? Got to get Greg on. You know, he runs a radio out there in Colorado, and we got some of the best people that are in here. Ariel, how are you? So good to see you on the expedition. Um, yeah. Witch Moon, hello, my darling. Good to see you as well. And as I continue up there, Jackie, how are you? And I know I'm missing others, but Jargo, good to see you. And Gogo, all the way from Croatia, if you're out there. Hello, Doctor. Good to see you in the house. Shadow Files, good to see you as well. Lost in Space, what's up, brother? Giving a shout out to Lucky Stone. Trust you're doing good, my friend. Jet, what's up? Elderberry, good to see you as well. And Bonnie, much love to you, darling. And let's see. Millie, good to see you. Another expedition member. Mr. Floyd, how are you? We're going to get together. I want to do that channeling thing. Maybe just have you on here. How about that? You know, make sure to support our good friend over there in his channel as well. But another expedition member, Millie, as well. I think as well. Gaia, how are you? Uh, Another one. So you can see this, Imperect, good to see you as well. And as I continue to get everyone caught up, hello, Stephanie Marie, good to see you, sweetie. So Z, what's up? Good to see you as well. I told you Go-Go was here. Gilbert, what's up? Good to see you. So I want to just, before we really get into mapping out, many of us already have the map. And Ken, I'm just bringing out because you made the comment on it. There's nothing to fear here. That is religious brainwashing. Again, I come from the very spiritual, active side, the supernatural side, the paranormal side of Christianity, where we knew the astral realm exists. We just called it by a different name. But nevertheless, it was alive and active and has been ever since whoever activated, I don't know who. And there is nothing to fear here. Every human has visited this realm. Fact is, we visit it regularly. It has been taught to us wrong. Even scientists can't figure it out. They never will because they're trying to apply our physical laws to a realm that those laws have no condition. They have no authority. Different laws, different realms. What's so hard to understand? I'm not getting it. So scientists, you got to go about it in a different way. So we visit this realm all the time. I don't know about you, but my dreams have shifted. Every night this week, I have had a freaking poignant, and I welcome those that are in the astral realm before I sleep. I give permission to my spirit to interact, my conscious mind. I implant now ideas because those ideas inevitably will show up in my astral travel, the dream state. Very poignant dreams, man. Yeah. By the way, Sanji will be joining us. Sanji, he's a cool guy. So he'll be joining us. And so again, no fear here. There's nothing to fear. And we're going to continue to learn. And by the way, those we've reached our max. We got 20 people. I mean, wow, just a couple of days. So I'll be sending out an email later today. We're going to get a time in which we will come together on Zoom and we'll have our first meeting. We'll probably have a number of meetings as we begin this, and then we'll get into it. And also, this is not a medium show. We're not seeking mediums. We all are mediums. It's going to be an adventure because it's an adventure that is already individual. I've got a couple of emails. It was pleasing to read. There's a couple that they have been practicing, waiting for this. You look at this group, we have done some marvelous things as a group. And I think this is going to accelerate the bond of this group. But it's also at the same time, we're going to do this in a way that we record this, we document every aspect of it, because I'm serious about this, folks. I'm anticipating, the unexpected. I'm anticipating that I don't know what will happen. I don't know if we as individuals will encounter other beings, a situation. It's very well. If you're on an expedition, you're going to experience the expedition through you. Are we going to be able to break through that threshold and have a manifestation of the expedition group? Could be. Are we going to be approached by beings, demigods, gods, goddesses? I think so. We attract that type of energy. And again, I believe they're anticipating. And those of you, I'm trying to just bring you up so you understand, we're going to be, teaching that each one of us can be a voice. When we would have meetings, and this was back in the days of the exciting part of Christianity. And when you're sitting with a congregation of 500 people, and then you have people who begin to prophesy, sometimes in English, sometimes in tongues, and then you'll always have someone else that will interpret those tongues. Things were happening. And so the point is, we all can receive a message, and that message we will learn as well. So it's going to be fun. It really is. This is something I think that has been waiting. Others are doing it. I don't see them actually recording all this, but then again, I don't know. We have to give appreciation to those who have gone before us. This is nothing new. We learned that yesterday, and we have learned that we're just using now a medium called the internet. We'll be channeling and siphoning some of that energy and putting it into the expedition group, and the talents of each person who's joining will lend itself and blend itself to a unique power. I think this is what happens when beings, sentient beings, us, get together, and we're all on a level already. So, hey, Trina, much love. How is everything going? I didn't get a chance to see that, sweetie, so let me know. So, I don't have permission to share the list, but I will get the permission, and then I let everyone out there. I just want to be mindful of people that maybe some know, want others to know. I don't know, but we got 20. Just I could not have picked a better group. I mean, this was just, and it's not to say that I'd love to see others come in, but I think once we establish what the first expedition is like, think about it. There's going to be, well, there's 20 plus myself, 21. Um, yeah, great number. Um, and we'll be able to share with everyone else. Shannon, how are you? Oh yeah, she says I'm excited to see what our dream weavers and the soul tribe can do. I have really vivid and realistic dreams, so I know I'm doing the work. Yeah, absolutely. So that's what it's about. I expect some breakthroughs here. I am not going to accept what the world is doing. You know, you've got, it's just the inmates are running the asylum. And that's, you know. There. So Gilbert says it's my birthday number. Shadow Files said I would go, but I'm homeless and I can't really go anywhere without my cat. Well, you know what? We can start sending you some prosperity. I don't know where you are on that, Shadow Files, but listen, yeah. You're not alone, by the way. You'll see Street Mom in here, Brenda. Uh, Lynn does a great job. And yeah, so much love to you, my friend. Much love to you. So let's get busy because we got a lot of work to be doing here. So we're mapping out the landscape. And I am appreciative of the theophysical um, movement. What those folks did back in the 1800s, 1900s, and early 20th century, man, was when the spiritual movement moved across the globe. And as I look back, I think the charismatic movement of the late 70s was very much a part of this. And it comes in cycles. And the thing is that we need to learn from those who have already been there and then add to our experience to that. And there's been some great writing on this one. This is a author, well-known, C.W. Ledbetter, and in his book, The Astral Plane, its scenery, inhabitants, and phenomenon. If you want this, I can send this out to all the expedition members, but if you want it as well, you really should have this in your library. It is a great book. These folks, they did some stuff, man. That's all I got to say. Um, anyway, it says few words are needed in sending this little book out into the world. It is the fifth of a series of manuals designed to meet the public demand for a simple exposition of theophysical teaching. Some have complained that our literature is at once too abstruse, too technical. I love that word, obtruse. That's a word you don't hear in the modern vernacular. Too expensive for the ordinary reader. And it is our hope that the present series may succeed in supplying what is a very real want. When I read that, and I've read this is like third, fourth time I read that, I can't help but not step back and think, you see, I've seen it in even my experience in religion and in movements. People wanted this knowledge. They were miserable. Religion wasn't fulfilling anything. Politics wasn't fulfilling anything. And so people were wanting, and I contend, people, when they go to church or mosque, whatever they go, they're wanting the supernatural because that represents God. It's above man, right? But they never find it. And this has left this huge vacuum in people in wanting to know more because they instinctively know there's more. And apparently back there in the day, it must have been expensive. I mean, imagine if this book here cost a quarter. Well, back in the late 1900s, that was a lot of money. And doesn't knowledge always come with a price? Isn't that true? Many of you who have your libraries, I mean, think of the tens of thousands of dollars that are spent. Heck, we can go up from there. Theosophy is not only for the learned, it is for all. Perhaps among those who, in these little books, catch their first glimpse of its teaching, there may be a few who will be led by them to penetrate more deeply into the philosophy, its science, and its religion. I thought that was interesting. Facing its abstrusers, problems with the student's zeal and the neophyte's ardor. But these manuals are not written for the eager student whom no initial difficulties can daunt. They are written for the busy man and woman of the workaday world and seek to make plain some of the great truths that render life easier to bear and death easier to face. Written by servants of the master who are the elder brothers of our race, they can have no other object than to serve our fellow man. Bosto, baby. Yeah. So in the contents, and this is not a really large book, you have the scenery. We got to have some point of reference. Now, the thing about it, we all know that the astral realms are fluid. They're constantly coalescing, and it's going to take some training to. We'll have advanced scouts going out, but having signposts that's something that can be able to be stable enough, even though the whole menagerie is ever changing. The inhabitants got way into last night reading this again, and wow, much of what I have thought and what we've talked about on many of the shows, with Trina and Jenny and so many others, we have masters already here, masters into each aspect. And in the inhabitants, they're human, they're the living, the adapts of the Chela, or that's in the, and I always like this, the Maya Ver Yupa. The physically developed person, the ordinary person in the astral body, the black magician, the dead, the Naranakaya, the cello awaiting reincarnation, the ordinary person after death, the shade, the shell, the vitalized shell, the suicide, the victim of sudden death, the vampire, the werewolf, the black magician after death, non-humans, the elemental essences, the Kamaropos of the animals, various classes on nature spirits, commonly called fairies, the Kamadevas, the Rupadevas, the Arupas, the Divas, and the Divarajas, the artificial elements found in unconsciously, guardian angels, elemental found, formed, consciousness, human artificials, and the true origin of spiritualism. Now imagine if CW lived in our day. I can't help but not think, Madame Blavatsky, excuse me, and others. What could they have done with this? I almost feel like, man, we really kind of almost missed it here. I mean, I've been doing this show for years, but it takes time. I get it. But I wonder what these individuals would have done with the power of the internet. I think they'd taken it to the freaking limit. Imagine them. And, here's the thing. We're going to have to tackle AI now. I think AI is in the astrals as well. Gets into the phenomenon and etc. Um, so let's just read. It says reference to the astral plane or the kama loka is, as it is called in Sanskrit, has frequently been made by the theosophical writers, and a good deal of information on the subject of this realm of nature is to be found scattered here and there in our books. But there is not, so far as I'm aware, any single volume to which one can turn for a complete summary of the facts at present known to us about this interesting region. The object of this manual is to collect and make some attempt to arrange the scattered information and also to supplement it slightly in cases where new facts have come to our knowledge. And just think what we've learned. And adding our essence to this knowledge is going to prove very advantageous. It must be understood that any such additions are only the result of the investigations of a few explorers. We're going to be among that number. I mean, I don't know about you. Again, it's the excitement. It's just like, okay. And remember, it's all mental. Yeah. Ah. And must not, therefore, be taken as in any way authoritative, but are given simply for what they are worth. I have no doubt we're going to be written about. I mean, the more you share these videos, the more you talk about it, and the more that they share it, because it's a very neutral platform, we will no doubt get the attention. That's exciting, folks. On the other hand, every precaution in our power has been taken to ensure accuracy, no fact, old or new, being admitted to this manual unless it has been confirmed by the testimony of at least 2 independent trained investigators among ourselves, and has also been passed as correct by our older students whose knowledge on these points is necessarily much greater than ours. I mean, think about what this group of 20 is going to be able to, 21 is going to be able to do. It is hoped, therefore, that this account of the astral plane, though it cannot be considered as quite complete, may yet be found reliable as far as it goes. The first point, which it is necessary to make clear in describing this astral plane, is its absolute reality. Of course, in using that word, I am not speaking from that metaphysical standpoint from which all but the one unmanifested is unreal because of its impermanent. I like this dude. This is just layman's language. It's like, hey, folks, it's not bullshit. Just because you can't freaking see it, you don't understand. You're seeing it. You're just blind. I like it. These people, these pioneers, they didn't have to guess. They didn't have to think. They knew. It's powerful. I am using the word in its plain everyday sense, and I mean by it that the objects and inhabitants of the astral plane are real in exactly the same way as our own bodies, our furniture, our houses, our monuments are real. As real as Charing Cross, to quote an expressive remark from one of the earliest theosophical works, they will no more endure forever than will objects on the physical plane, but they are nevertheless realities from our point of view while they last. realities which we can afford to ignore merely because the majority of mankind is as yet unconscious, or but vaguely conscious of their existence. Wow. Dang, I just don't know how you put it. And it's interesting. So what CW is saying here is that, hey, understand reality is not forever. Reality has different shades, different positions, different looks. And eventually reality disappears. I mean, if you think about a Sumerian that lived 6,000 years ago, his reality doesn't exist anymore. It's not our reality. That reality is vapor. Unless you say that some of us were Sumerians. Now, that's a different thing. There appears to be considerable misunderstanding, even among the theosophical student, upon this question of the reality of the various planes of the universe. This may perhaps be partly due to the fact that the word plane has occasionally been very loosely used in our literature. Writers speaking vaguely of the mental plane, the moral plane, and so on. And this vagueness has led many people to suppose that the information on the subject, which is to be found in theosophical books, is inexact and speculative, a mere hypothesis incapable of definite proof. No one can get a clear conception of the teachings of the wisdom religion until he has, at any rate, an intellectual grasp of the fact that in our solar system there exist perfectly definite planes, each with its own matter of different degrees of density, and that some of these planes can be visited and observed by persons who have qualified themselves for the work, exactly as a foreign country might be visited and observed. Man, I mean, it's like, got that excitement as when we were younger, it's like, we're going to go tomorrow. Is tomorrow here? You're excited about this. It's almost for me, almost like, a reunion, going back and potentially visiting those planes that I visited in my youth. And that by comparison of the observations of those who are constantly working on these planes, evidence can be obtained of their existence and nature at least as satisfactory as that which most of us have for the existence of Greenland or Spitsbergen. Tells you when this was written. Everyone may have heard of Greenland, but I don't think most people had ever even seen it. Um, the names usually given to these planes, taking them in order of materiality, rising from the denser to the finer, are number one, the physical, the astral, the divinic, the supravinic, and the nirvanic. Higher than this last are two others, but they are so far above our present power of conception that for the moment they may be left out of consideration. Now, it should be understood that the matter of each of these planes differs from that of the one below in it the same way as, though to much greater degree than the vapor differs from the solid matter. And we all can understand. We know we experience it with water. Every person can walk on water. It just depends on which density you're talking about. And the fact that we can physically see before our eyes this transformation of something that can be frozen, then become a liquid, and then become a vapor, steam. Reality of our plane and the planes that we're going to be visiting are the same there. Hmm. In fact, the states of matter, which we call solid, liquid, and gaseous, are merely the three lowest subdivisions of the matter belonging to this one physical plane. Again, now I just consider myself just one of these blessed individuals, you know. I understand, you know. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. I can still hear Copeland in my mind and Hagen explaining this substance. I mean, these cats were wizards. Yeah, they had the head of the religion, but you know, you strip all that away, and holy crap, this is what the mystery schools teach. Harry Potter and that. J. Rowling, she caught it. This substance, it's everywhere, and it's malleable. It can be used. It's powerful, or it can absolutely do nothing because most people don't know it. Or it can be accessed in such a manner that they're not aware, but they're doing it wrong, and they can't understand why everything in their life is so freaking upside down, like with our government. You got idiots out there that have no idea what they're messing with. And as you can see, what happens when you mess with it wrongly, it really is a mess. I hope you're understanding. I hope you're enjoying this, because this is very common person language. It's no, well, I have to tell you in our today's class. No, it's, you know, we're just, you know, common knowledge seekers, but we achieve a lot. The astral region, which I am to attempt to describe, is the second of these great planes of nature. The next above or within, of that physical world, with which we are all familiar. We all perceive the physical world differently, but yet we're all immersed within it. Yeah. It has often been called the realm of illusion. Not that it is itself any more illusionary than the physical world. And again, we know that our minds make up this huge gap of what we can look around, and we think we're seeing this as it is, but science has shown to us that our brains can't take it all in, and we have this magical ability that our brains fill in the missing spots, and then we can converse with one another, and that's reality. Wow. But because of the extreme unreliability of the impressions brought back from it by the untrained seer, and I think that that's where a lot of people have messed up in the past. They went to a place where they weren't. Now, we've talked many times, and we'll continue. There's many of y'all that know exactly where I'm at on this. With, I can almost say it was like shaman training, but with my experience, particularly in jumping into these realms through the use of a chemical additive, and humans been doing that since way back. We've been getting high and reaching out to the astral plane for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. But the truth is, there are some who should not do that at all. So like when I worked in the volunteer of the house, where we would talk people down from bad trips. There were a group of us, we were master trippers. We found LSD, mescaline, psilocybin. We didn't realize it at the time, but we were doing the work of initiates. And some of us excelled in it. Some of us reveled in these astral planes, being in the physical conscious mind, but at the same time being able to see, to access, to feel, to experience these other realms. Telling you, it's going to be a fun trip. Um, it has often been called the realm of, okay, well, I'm going back. This is to be accounted for mainly by two remarkable characteristics of the astral world. First, that many of its inhabitants have a marvelous power of changing their forms with protein rapidity, uh, rapidity, excuse me, and also for casting practical unlimited glamour over those with whom they choose to sport. This is a clue, expedition members. We need to write this down. So we know that there is those humans who have met these beings in the astral realm with apparently the ability of, well, um, changing, shapeshifters. But isn't it interesting of also casting practically unlimited glamour over those with whom they choose to sport? Glamour is another word for wealth, riches, etc. And secondly, that sight on that plane is a faculty very different from and much more extended than the physical version. Again, if you've been there, you know what that is. You can see what is a building in front of you, but at the same time, you see freaking layers of things that, could freak a lot of people out. Has in some cases. But for the others, we are the explorers. It's like, holy crap, will you look at that? You know? How in the hell can that blue meanie be? What the, and I was always tripping on the fact of Paisleys. I mean, I don't know where the hell that came from, but yeah, anyway. Uh, an object is seen, as it were, from all sides at once. The inside of a solid being is plainly open to the view as the outside. It is therefore obvious that an inexperienced visitor to this new world may well find considerable difficulty in understanding what he or she really does see, and still more in translating his or her vision into the very inadequate language of ordinary speech. Well, I was at that bridge. They call it the Rainbow Bridge or whatever, but holy crap, I mean, I'm still there right now. I can see it. But what I can see even more is that touching the firmament, and you just get this sound and this it blends in anyway. I digress. You see, very difficult to do in the ordinary language. A good example of this sort of mistake that is likely to occur is the frequent reversal of any number which the seer has to read from. The astrolite, so that he would be liable to render, say, 139 as 931, and so on. Take on the scientific principle of what our optic nerve is seeing, we see everything reversed than what it is. So we see it there, but it's translated to our brains upside down, and then somehow our brains reconstruct it to be right side up. You getting it? Yeah, far out. In the case of a student of occultism trained by a capable master, such a mistake would be impossible except through great hurry or carelessness, since such a pupil has to go through a long and varied course of instruction in this art of seeing correctly. The master, or perhaps some more advanced pupil, bringing before him again and again all possible forms of illusion and asking him, what do you see? I see this expedition members as, and tribe as well, but I see this as that I have no doubt individuals are going to get messages, they're going to see some, and I think that the group, when we get into these treks, that are going to be able to say, I'm not sure what I'm actually seeing, but someone's going to be able to say, well, I see it as this, and that will add. And then suddenly we have a correlating picture being seen by everyone. Oh, this is so cool. Any errors in his answers are then corrected and their reasons explained until by degrees of the neophyte acquires a certainty and confidence in dealing with the phenomenon of the astral plane, which far exceeds anything possible in physical life. But he has to learn not only to see correctly, but to translate the memory of what he has seen accurately from one plane to the other. And to assist him in this, he is trained to carry his consciousness without break from the physical plane to the astral or to the divinic and be back again. For until that can be done, there is always a possibility that his recollections may be partially lost or distorted during the blank interval which separates his periods of consciousness on various planes. When the power of bringing over the consciousness is perfectly acquired, the pupil will have the advantage of the use of all the astral faculties, not only while out of his body during sleep or trance, but also while fully awake in ordinary physical life. It has been the custom of some theosophists to speak with scorn of the astral plane and treat it as an entity unworthy of attention. But that seems to me to a somewhat mistaken view. Most assuredly, that at which we have to aim is the purely spiritual plane. And it would be most disastrous for any student to neglect that higher development and rest satisfied with the attainment of astral consciousness. And that's what's happening right now. No matter where you are on this path and what your knowledge is, it's reinforcing that we are developing this other level of consciousness, which is the astral consciousness. Yeah, sign me up. There are some whose karma is such as to enable them to develop the purely spiritual faculties first of all, to overleap the astral plane for the time, as it were, and when afterwards they make an acquaintance they have, if their spiritual development has been perfect, the immense advantage of dipping into it from above with the aid of the spiritual insight which cannot be deceived and a spiritual strength which nothing can resist. I have a sense that I already know. I know the answer to my question. There are many among us, I'd say a great deal of us in here, that we have actually developed in a higher plane. And for us to be able to go into the astral plane is, well, it's kind of like the step down, but it's not as quite as steep of a step going back into the physical. I love this stuff. Uh, um, Give me one second here. It is, however, a mistake to suppose, as some writers have done, that this is the only or even the ordinary method adapted by the masters of wisdom with their pupils. Where it is possible, it saves much trouble. But for most of us, such progress by leaps and bounds has been forbidden by our own faults or follies in the past. While I was reading this last night, I heard this voice speak to me and it says, you know, you've been here before. And I thought to myself, yeah, I think I have been here before. I think a lot of you have, those that, again, who have signed up, I'm convinced every one of you have been there before. No, it's going to have a different look, different landscape. It doesn't matter. Still in the same plane. Um, yeah. All that we can hope for is to win our way slowly, step by step. And since this astral plane lies next to our world of denser matter, it is usually in connection with that our earliest superphysical experiences take place. Another little break here. There is no doubt we're going to experience actual physical sensations. It's interesting as you read this. And again, it's because of those early pioneers, 7,000 years ago. Um, it is therefore by no means without interest to those of us who are beginners in these studies, and a clear comprehension of the mysteries may often be of the greatest importance to us, not only by enabling us to understand many of the phenomenon of the seance room, of haunted houses, etc., which would otherwise be inexplicable, but also to guard ourselves and others from possible dangers. We're going to actually have guards within our group. Yeah, just what it is. I mean, it's an expedition. Okay? The first introduction to this remarkable region comes to people in various ways. Some only once in their whole lives, under some unusual influence, become sensitive enough to recognize the presence of one of its inhabitants. And perhaps because the experience does not repeat itself, come in time to believe that on that occasion they must have been victims of hallucination. Others find themselves with increasing frequency seeing and hearing something to which those around them are blind and deaf. Others again, and perhaps this is the commonest experience of all, begin to regulate with greater and greater clearness that which they have seen or heard on that other plane during sleep. I think that's what's happening to us. Among those who make a study of these subjects, some try to develop the astral sight by crystal gazing or other methods, while those who have the inestimable advantage of the direct guidance of a qualified teacher will probably be placed upon that plane for the first time under his special protection, which will be continued until, by the application of various tests, he has satisfied himself that the pupil is proof against any danger that might occur of terror that he is likely to encounter. And I got to stop right there. We have to be prepared. And when we meet, we'll cover this in depth, that we're going to see stuff that ain't human. But however it may occur, the first actual realization that we all, the while in the midst of a great world full of active life, of which most of us are nevertheless entirely unconscious, cannot but be to some extent a memorable epoch in a man's existence, I would say. So abundant and so manifold is this life of the astral plane that at first it is absolutely bewildering to the neophyte. And even for the more practiced investigator, it is no easy task to attempt to classify and to catalog it. If the explorer of some unknown tropical forest were asked not only to give a full account of the country through which he had passed, with accurate details of its vegetable mineral productions, but also to state the genus and species of every one of the myriad insects, birds, beasts, and reptiles which he had seen, he might well shrink appalled at the magnitude of the undertaking. Yes, even this affords no parallel to the embarrassments of the psychic investigator, for in his case matters are further complicated first by the difficulty of correctly translating from that plane to this the recollection of what he has seen, and secondly, by the utter inadequacy of ordinary language to express much of what he is to report. However, just as the explorer on the physical plane would probably commence his account of the country by some sort of general description, it is scenery and characteristics, so it will be to begin this slight sketch of the astral plane by endeavoring to give some idea of the scenery which forms the background of its marvelous and ever-changing activities. Yet here, at the onset, an almost inseparable difficulties confronts us in the extreme complexity of the matter. All who see fully on that plane agree that to attempt to call up before those whose eyes are as yet unopened a vivid picture of this astral scenery is like speaking to a blind man of the exquisite variety of tints in a sunset sky. However detailed and elaborate the description may be, there is no certainty that the idea presented before the hearer's mind will be adequate representation of the truth. We'll stop up there and we'll pick up and get into the scenery of those who have been before us. This is as far out stuff. It's not for everybody, shouldn't be. But for those of us who have said, listen, I ain't scared of no ghost. In fact, I have a sense that if you were to join like one of these ghost expeditions, probably nothing's going to happen because of you, because you're already versed. And there's nothing that some phantasm or, poltergeist or angry spirit can do. You're likely to see it and tell it to get its ass out of there, and they're going to go, oh, crap. Because, you carry a certain authority, folks. We'll be covering this as well. If you push me, and I mean push me to where someone's in danger that I love and something like that, I have this voice that takes over that I have had people tell me repeatedly scares the crap out of them. But you have to have that type of profoundness of your authority. And listen, I've gotten my ass kicked before and I get it kicked again, but I'm certainly not going to back down from a fight, particularly with a spirit. Yeah. So, all right, everybody. I'm just reading everyone's comments. I hope everyone has enjoyed this. I mean, we'll continue to do this. And again, folks, you'll get an email from me today on that, and we'll be sharing it with all of y'all. I mean, this is why voyeurism is such excitingness, Yeah, we're all voyeurs of some nature. All spirits are voyeurs, if you want to be candid with us. But any case, so many of you vicariously will be living the experience as, it's related to everyone else. Isby is not with us anymore. That's true. Yeah. He's over there on the other side. Probably watching this going, all right, come on, guys. Come on. I can see Brian and Claire going, yeah. Y'all got it. Y'all got it. Keep on. Keep on. We're going to do it. All right. Thank you, Lost in Space. Regina, how are you doing? Good to see you. Scotty boy, this is powerful stuff. Like, what the hell? It's like, yeah, it just, your mind opens up and you're going, okay. Says respect always those the convert. Exactly. Back ass words, weird world. I like that. Great handle, by the way. All right, everyone. See, I'm reading some of the great comments. That's what I'm talking about. Wow, really? Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Mr. Floyd, right back at you, brother. All right. Witch Moon, good to see you. Miss Trina, let us know on Cooper, please. And we'll meet here tomorrow. We're going to continue on to this. This is kind of be reference for also as we get versed. I love the material. It is well written, common sense, practical application. That's for myself. That's like, all right, I'll sign up for that. The best way to learn. All right, folks, much love to everybody. Emperor Rex says, that's what my mother said. Come on. What are you waiting for? I don't know yet. Yeah, yeah, he is here, and they are. Yeah, I agree. Hey, Lauren, how are you? Beautiful day to you, darling, as well. Merry wins, love win. One, yeah. Guy, right back at you. Hugs. I'll subscribe. I haven't found anything else on here. I don't know, wow, really what you're looking for, but hey, this is one of the best group of people. You get to know these people here. I mean, many of us have been hanging out, nearly 10 years together. So it's a good group. And I love each and every one of them. Like, Stephanie Marie, that's what I'm talking about, and Bonnie and Grace and Bernadette and Jacqueline and, all the rest of you. Yeah. All right, folks, I'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of the day. It's still summertime here and the heat goes on. And I'm sure with Trina down there, it's still that as well. Um, I'm trying to read all this. All right, everyone. To travel the astral, I see energy. Yeah, that's because that's what it is. Even this plane of existence is energy. It's just in a denser matter. So, yeah, yeah, you know, you're right there in good company. All right, until we see, and much love to you, Cooper. That's right, Gaia, all the way across. All right, getting the hell out of here.